I travel the world as an evangelist now for 3 months of the year, and for 9 months of the year, I tell people for 9 months of the year I work for the corporations. But for 3 months of the year I work for myself. I enjoy that latitude. I've had the ability to earn in 9 months what would take 12 months because I learned to live on less. But here's the beauty of it. I have more peace in my mind now than I ever did. I have more clarity in my thought now than I ever did. That doesn't mean I don't have problems. My wife is battling an illness that afflicts her. The drugs they give her affect her. It's not fair. Life is tough, folks. But if you're tough on yourself, life will become infinitely easier on you. Life is tough, always has been. Wealth and riches, money and success. Do they go hand in hand? Yes. But can they be mutually exclusive? Absolutely. I have met people with nothing who have great joy. Come with me sometime to Sangam Vihar in Delhi, a slum, where you have to go 6 kilometers. Picture hell, and picture that as the starting point. And I lived in India, and I was aghast. When I travel in America, people say, Slumdog Millionaire real? Yeah, the problem is, on TV, you don't have smell-o-vision. I told them, you know what? You will never understand atrocity and human depravity till you can smell the decrepitness of their conditions. And you walk in there, there's this little boy, 4 kilometers inside Sangam Vihar, one of the largest organized slums in the world, run probably by people in great power. And this boy, who's 4, is carrying a 1-year-old. Because the mother is a rag picker and the father is an alcoholic. But when he sees me, Babuji, aap fir se aaye. He's excited to see me. Because in the long line of broken promises, here is a tall guy making a second visit. There's not enough money you can pay me to have that experience. See, there's a reality, but there's also a duality. Skill and will. You need both. You need the will to perform. You need the skill to excel. And both of them will occupy the desires of your heart. Okay? That may be a longer answer, but since I'm the speaker, just telling you the truth, you know. If you want a shorter answer, get your own seminar. It's easy, I do.
Is it possible to get rid of the ego totally?
Is it practically possible to get rid of the ego totally? And if I said yes, I'd be lying. That would be my ego talking. It's humanly impossible because the flesh is the thorn in the side. We tell us, the good book tells us what we want to do, we don't. And what we don't want to do, we do. Here's why. The mind seems to be chasing after that which will make it content. But the heart always seems to seek the seductive and the available. And the conflict with me, see a message, and you guys are in the technology world, a message will travel around the world in 2 seconds. 2 seconds, a message can travel around the world. And then take an entire lifetime to go the last 6 inches between the head and the heart. The message will travel around the world in 2 seconds and then go the entire life to go the last 6 inches. The problem is not, as Ravi Zacharias puts it, we think that the justification for some of our inadequacies is the problem with pain. No, it's the problem of pleasure. If you want to understand the conflict between the problem of pain and the problem of pleasure, read George Orwell's 1984 and then read Aldous Huxley, and you will understand where we are in this existential struggle. Sometimes we have to curtail the pleasure if we want to address ego. We cannot address ego through pain. Pain is a permanent. Pleasure is a random. We seek pleasure to counteract pain, and therein lies that fight with that ego. Anybody else? Everybody this side perfectly clear, no questions on this side? Just want to make sure. By the way, this is yes. This is no. I'm schizophrenic and so am I. So. No more questions? Comments? Snide remarks? Okay. I'll end with a funny anecdote that Dr. Ramesh Richard shared recently at an event I was, and I told them I would copy it. Man is constantly searching for answers. And we try to provide solutions that sometimes seem like the right thing to do, but because they're easy, they backfire. So there was this guy who was married and his wife had a cat. And this guy hated cats, but he loved his wife. So as men try to do when they love their wife, but they don't like some other stuff, they try devious stuff that always backfires. So he decided he would get rid of this cat, but he would do it in a way that would make it look like the cat got lost. So one day he took the cat and went to the end of the street, turned the corner, left it there. By the time he came back to his front door, it was sitting there. So he says, this is a little more delicate situation. I need to find a more permanent solution. So the next day, he took the cat in the car and dropped it off in the other neighborhood. And when he came back from work in the evening, it was sitting on the front porch. The third day, he says, this is not going to work. He went across the bridge, under the railway track, over the city line. He went to the other side, put it on a bus, put it on an auto, put it on a taxi, trying to confuse it. 3 hours later, he calls his wife. He said, is the cat at the house? And the wife said, yes. He says, put the cat on the phone, I need to come home. He got lost. So sometimes in our pursuit, we try to make small adjustments and we end up lost. Here's the truth, folks. When Edmund Hillary summited Everest, it was on the 6th attempt. 5 times he had failed. In March of 1953, Edmund Hillary summited Everest, becoming the first person to do so, with Tenzing Norgay. Later on, he was knighted by the Queen. He came back to India as New Zealand's High Commissioner, etc. He died a couple of years ago as one of this planet's great adventures. He wrote a book called High Adventure. Made American Express commercials, was a very lauded person. Began his life as a beekeeper and a sheep farmer in New Zealand. When Edmund Hillary failed to climb Mount Everest the 5th time, they invited him somewhere. And in that speech he said, there was a picture of Everest in the room, and he pointed it, made a fist, and he said, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you because you have grown just about all he's talking to a mountain. You have grown just about all you're going to grow, but I am still growing. If you look at work as an obstacle, that's permanent. But if you look at yourself as a fluid commodity that is growing, excellence will be in your back pocket and success will be on your compass. I always end by the same way of saying, thanks for inviting me. I'm Anila's husband and Nick's dad, wishing you all the best in all the days of your life. Adios.
Thank you.